My grandfather eats far too much. Now I understand why my father forbade me from seeing him. I always heard that asking about Grandpa was forbidden. The moment I uttered the word grandfather, Dad would snap. His eyes darkened, his jaw clenched, and every time I heard the same thing. He's no longer part of this family, period. I only saw Grandpa twice as a child. I was too young to remember much, just fragments. The smell of charred meat, smoke curling from his pipe bowl, and a silence that clung to the air like wet wool. The only thing I recall clearly is how enormous he seemed whenever he visited. Or maybe I was just too small. Mom would pull me away, quick and firm. When I turned 18 and moved to the city for college, I found myself digging through Dad's old things during a rare, quiet moment. Among bills and expired driver's licenses, I discovered a yellowed envelope. Inside was a crumpled letter sent from a town called Loudel, a speck on the map, 2 hours north. The return address read, George and Marilyn Ardor. At first, the names meant nothing, but George brought back the smell of smoke. Looking back now, I don't know why I went there, but I've always been curious, and something pulled me toward that place. Forbidden fruit is sweet, right? So during break, I decided to meet my grandfather. I rehearsed questions, why he and Dad were estranged, what happened, but none of it would matter. Loudel was smaller than any town I'd seen. One gas station, one diner, one grocery store, and houses scattered along winding roads like fallen teeth. The last stretch from the bus stop, I walked. At the end of a gravel path, framed by bare trees and silence, stood a red wooden house. He opened the door before I could knock. "Good Lord Almighty," he boomed, grinning wide with crooked teeth. "Look who it is, my favorite grandson. God, it's good to see ya." Grandpa was massive. His frame barely fit the doorway. He wore a brown flannel shirt stretched over his gut, the collar stained, a thick pipe seemingly fused to his lips. His hug knocked the air out of me. Behind him stood Grandma. Her hair was neatly pinned, her sweater hanging loose, as if years of worry had whittled her down to bone. Her eyes met mine, and didn't match her smile. They said, "What have you done?" Grandpa ushered me inside, clapping my back so hard I stumbled. The house smelled of smoke, meat, and something coppery brown. The furniture was old, but sturdy, the kind that outlives generations. He gave me a tour, laughing and gesturing wildly, and I sat with them in the living room, dark from heavy curtains. Grandma brought me tea with trembling hands. The first few days were tolerable. Grandpa joked, smoked non-stop, and taught me wood carving. He told stories to neighborhood kids who trickled in after school, 2 or 3 at a time. He was what people call the life of the party, and he really was. I don't know how to explain it, but Grandpa had this magnetism. People just gravitated toward him. He was kind, genuine, funny. His life stories were fascinating, and he clearly loved the attention, his pipe never leaving his mouth. Everything seemed normal, except for one thing, his appetite. He ate constantly, bacon by the pound, bread by the loaf, pies in single sittings. Once I watched him devour an entire rotisserie chicken and a pan of cornbread before dinner. He chewed loudly, wheezing, sweating, never stopping. Plates piled around him like building blocks. Yet he always wanted more. Licking plates, sucking grease from his fingers, gulping tea by the liter, nearly choking on it. Grandma brought out plates piled with pork chops, sausages, whole chickens, gravy boats the size of bowls, and he inhaled it all, groaning with pleasure. His face gleamed with grease. He didn't chew so much as engulf, as if tasting was optional. "You always eat like this?" I asked, half joking. He grunted around his pipe and patted his belly. Big man needs big meals. I figured he just needed a lot of food, but not this much. All day he only ate and smoked, barely able to move from his chair, just sitting in the kitchen, waiting for the next massive meal. Hell, I don't think I've eaten as much in my life as he did in one dinner. Still, evenings with him were fun, until the hunger returned. One night Grandma caught me alone in the hall while Grandpa snored like a bear in the next room. "You need to leave," she whispered, her face pale, lips cracked. "While he's asleep. Tomorrow, first thing." "But why?" She flinched at the sound of heavy footsteps. Grandpa emerged from the shadows, pipe smoldering, eyes unreadable. "Everything all right?" "Just telling him about my childhood." Grandma answered too quickly. Grandpa stared at us in silence, and for the first time I felt afraid. The only light was his burning pipe, the only sound his labored breathing. He filled the hallway, his bulk swallowing the space. "This house has many stories," he finally rumbled before retreating to bed.